Internet, Eric here. Today's video is going to be in the Have You Ever Seen category. If you're new to my channel and you don't know what that is, it's a category of certain movies that I kind of like, I want to give the spotlight to. Movies where perhaps I've heard of them, but at least in my circle of friends or in Facebook groups or what have you, other than maybe a small handful of people other than me have heard about it, and I think that it definitely deserves a wider audience. I have talked about the movie Freaked with Alex Winter. I've talked about Rumpelstiltskin, the cheesy Mark Jones follow-up, I guess, to Leprechaun. So you get the idea. You know, try to get a wider audience to see a film that maybe, like I said, only a handful of people that I know of and have talked to know about it. So today, this was recommended by we'll just say, an associate of mine who will definitely tell you that we're not friends. We'll just say he'll go by the name of Nobby. He told me how much he enjoyed this film. I'd never heard of it, and then I finally sat down and got it from Netflix. So today I'm going to ask, have you ever seen Iron Sky? Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you, so watch at your own risk. Got this from Netflix. So basic plot is, I'll just read it from here. Came out in 2012. The plot is, having secretly fled to a base on the moon at the end of World War II, Nazis put the final touches on their scheme to launch an invasion of Earth. When a new space shuttle mission threatens to expose them, they rush their plans into action. And yes, that is the batshit crazy, out there plot of Iron Sky. And I had so much fun with this film. We'll get to it. First off, the main character is a black man. I believe his name is Washington, and his race actually is pretty important. He is one of two people that made it to the moon in this exploration mission, what have you. And when they get to the moon, one of them finds the army base, or not the army base, the Nazi base, you know, that's on the dark side of the moon. His partner is killed and he is taken hostage, and we meet the rest of the Nazis. Bear in mind, I just watched this for the first time 2 or 3 days ago, so I don't know character names other than Washington, and I don't know actor names other than Udo Kier. And I'll get to that. First, we have the female Nazi, beautiful blonde. Don't know her name. She's very likable. We meet her. She's teaching a class to young kids, wannabe Nazis, what have you, telling them how we should live our lives. That thing. Her love interest is, I'll just call him generic Nazi, just because his character isn't necessarily generic, but he is just nothing special. They have a good chemistry, and he's a good villain, I guess, because eventually he wants the Nazis to be able to, you know, to come to Earth and take over, but he's also looking to become the new Führer. And the current Führer is played by Udo Kier, who I only know from the Halloween remake. He's in Blade. Basically, whenever you need a German character actor, you get Udo Kier. And he's Udo Kier. He's the Führer here. He's the one in charge. And he's just there to do Udo Kier stuff, you know, look menacing and scary. But he does it well. I like his scenes with generic Nazi. Really, really well done. He knows that he's going to be usurped by this guy. And as short as that confrontation is, it's really good. I like it. We'll get back to the blonde. She also is a likable character because eventually she sees the faults in the way she's living her life with the Nazi party, and she eventually wants to help Washington. And Washington, like I said, was the black astronaut, and that is important because the plot of this movie is already so out there. Okay. He gets captured after his partner is shot and killed on the moon in a great slow motion, no gravity scene. He's eventually taken he's eventually taken captive, taken aside the Nazi base. He meets this mad scientist who's probably one of my favorite characters in this whole fucking movie. And he looks literally just like a mad scientist. He looks like he's out of, Dr. Wily or, from Mega Man or something like that. And when you hear of Nazis, physically, what do you think? Blonde hair, blue eyes. So when Washington is taken captive, he's eventually turned into a white man with blonde hair, and it leads to some of the best comedic scenes in this film when they eventually make it back to Earth, because they find the Nazis. This takes place in 2018, and it was made in 2012, and they find one of Washington's smartphones, so they want to go to Earth to get this technology to help them, help their cause, and they take Washington with them to infiltrate. And one of the funniest scenes is Washington doesn't know that he's been dyed white and given blonde hair, so they drop him off at a basket. I think they're in New York. Yeah, they're in New York, because you eventually see Times Square. He goes to like a public, basketball, not basketball ring, but the blacktop where I don't know if they're gangbangers or not, but his buddies are playing basketball, and he's going there saying, "Hi, how you doing this?" And of course they see the white blonde haired dude. They pull guns on him, and he's running. He doesn't know why, and then he noticed that he's a white boy now. The guy who plays Washington, his comedic timing is funny, and it gets even better because after the Nazis get their information, they infiltrate the White House due to help from the president's advisor. We cut 4 months in the future, and now Washington is a homeless man on the corner with a sign. Basically like those the apocalypse is coming type of guys, but he's talking about how the Nazis from the moon are here, and his comedic timing is even better, especially when he meets up with the blonde again, and then they just have their conflict. So I really, really like the guy who plays Washington. The president's advisor is a really fun character. She's really strong. She's really foul mouthed, and it's like her way or fuck you type of way. And I like eventually at the end when all the shit has hit the fan, she's in charge of one of the space stations, which I'll get to. And the only other character of merit is the President of the United States, which is literally just called the President of the United States, and it's a female parody of Sarah Palin, and it's funnier than hell. So the characters are great. The plot, as crazy as it is so much fun. The pace of this movie, this is the rated R version. I know there's a longer version. This is only hour and 33 minutes. There is a director's cut that's 20 minutes more. But this version, from beginning to end, the pace is crisp and fast and so much fun. I was never, ever bored. I didn't think any of it dragged at all. Let's get to the action. The action is so over the top when all this shit happens. I already mentioned the cool slow motion like execution that happens to Washington's friend or his partner on the moon. But when the Nazis finally come to Earth, first off, their spaceships are literally they're flying saucers, from like the 50s, the flying saucers that spin around. But the top of them are modeled after tanks, so it's got that really cool look. And then when they're spinning, the turrets turn around, this and that, and they fire tanks instead of like lasers that flying saucers would. So the look is cool. When they want to attack, there's also these gigantic like Zeppelin type vehicles that are coming down to Earth to attack as well. So that's just so over the top and really fun. And then when the president's assistant gets put in charge, she's put in charge of this giant space station to help stop, and she's basically like this female, I'm going to say Captain Kirk. And I think her station is called the SS George W. Bush. So it's just so tongue-in-cheek and so fun. And like I said, the action is great. You got, like, when they finally hit New York City and they're hitting Times Square, you got all the tropes. You got, explosions here, and you got, the close-up of the guy pointing up to the sky, screaming as the camera zooms in and bombs him. You got the flying saucers crashing into buildings and this and that. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, it's like the movie Armageddon when in the beginning when the meteorites are hitting the world. It's just a fun disaster film now. Any problems I have? Very minimal. The green screen or blue screen, whatever, it can be noticeable at times, but I'm already so into this film and loving this film just based on first the concept alone and the execution of the characters. I'm having a blast. I don't give a shit about the visible blue screen and green screen. There is a problem like when the Americans finally defeat the Nazis and they cause the huge mothership, I guess, to crash into the moon. It's pretty anticlimactic, but I think the president's assistant even says a line like, "What? That's it? That's all we're gonna get?" type of thing. So they purposely, I think, made it anticlimactic because you had all this action going on, and then suddenly it just goes, and that's it. So I got the joke, but I kind of wish we had more of it. Other than that, there's not a lot of problems I had with this. You need to pay attention in a lot of scenes when the Nazis are just talking to themselves because it is in German with subtitles, so you don't want to miss anything. But overall, oh my god, I had such a blast with Iron Sky. It knew what it was, tongue-in-cheek, great action, really likable characters, like I said, and then, oh my god, the comedy, like I said, of Washington, so much fun. Udo Kier is Udo Kier, but he's there being menacing. I will say when the blonde finally, she has a change of heart, and she has to take on the what am I going to call him? Generic Nazi. That's a nice little fight scene, and he gets it good. I'll say that. So the fight scenes are pretty good. Like I said, I like the characters a lot, especially Washington. It's going to be great. He looks very unnerving as a white guy with blonde hair. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than if you haven't seen Iron Sky, give it a shot. Download it, steal it, get it on Netflix. Fun time. Now, I know recently they just had the second one come out, and a lot of people shit on it, even Nabi, the one who told me to get this. But I had so much fun with Iron Sky, I'm still going to chance it and see the second one, because if you've seen the trailer, I know there's lizard people, and Hitler's riding a dinosaur, so I'm sold. But I will say, so glad I listened to him, friend or not, and sat down and watched Iron Sky. Lots of fun. If you can get past the premise, you know what you're in for, and you're gonna just sit back, relax, have a beer, popcorn, whatever, and you're gonna have fun. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, all that stupid shit. Comment below. Tell me if you've seen Iron Sky. Tell me if you saw it and you hated it. Tell me if you saw it and you loved it. Tell me if you think this sounds like the most stupid movie in the world. Whatever. I don't care. Go check out Iron Sky. Once again, had a lot of fun. I will say cheers, and I'll see you in Valhalla.